maybe this is what you're thinking. It's exactly like my in-person class. It's exactly the same. And so I can really think about this remote class, design it and teach it the same way. The students are going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the same thing. And in fact, this is a quote that I heard quite often in my role as instructional coach last semester. I'm just going to say at this point, yes and no. It is true that you can think about a remote class where all the contact hours are replaced with Zoom or WebEx. You can think about it exactly like an in-person class. But since you're here today, let's explore some different ideas, even if you are teaching in this kind of reciprocal modality. What about this sort of design, though? Maybe you're doing this. You're meeting with your students Monday for an hour and Wednesday for an hour in Zoom, but you're not meeting on Friday, and that's online. And so this is a remote online hybrid, right? It's a class that has 2/3 of its contact hours in synchronous Zoom, and 1/3 of the contact hours are online teaching and learning. And so I think many of us who are teaching remote are actually teaching these sorts of hybrid classes. And if that's what you're teaching, I think it's more complicated because the online part of the class, which in this scenario is 1/3 of the contact hours, 1/3 of the teaching and learning, kind of forces us as teachers to think about, well, what is online teaching and what is online learning? Because we're going to have to combine the synchronous and the asynchronous elements of our class. Or maybe you're doing a modality that looks something like this. I'm going to meet Monday 9 to 9:50 and Wednesday 9 to 9:50, but my expectation is students are kind of distributing the rest of that hour over the course of the week. And so maybe that's looking like this. And if that's the case, I think you have these sorts of considerations. How am I going to fold in the synchronous teaching and the asynchronous teaching? And how are students going to kind of manage and juggle or synchronize or synthesize the learning that they're doing in Zoom and the learning they're doing online?